Hail Santa. Do you call him Santa or Santa?
Santa.
Can we call him Santa?
I guess so.
Because it's
Saint
December,
Claus?
everybody. Time to get in that festive spirit. I need to put up some...
Yeah.
Do I still have the lights? Do those work? Ah, no, they're pumpkins.
Those are the Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get some other ones.
Cool.
Welcome back, though, to another weekly Daily Wednesdays. Sit back, relax, and just talk about some stuff we got going on. You know, we're getting into the holidays, having fun. Some people are having fun. Other people are just going stark mad. It's fun to watch no matter what's going on, man.
Yeah.
But one of the good things about the holidays, sales.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Really good sales.
You've been taking advantage of a few, haven't you?
Yes, I have. In fact, we just had the Steam Autumn sale just ended this morning, I believe. And I picked out about 10 different games, Ben. But I started playing one of them, an adventure 3D platformer called Wavetale by Thunderful Studios. And it turns out I like a lot of games by Thunderful Studios. So I'm happy to play one of their games I hadn't. And it's actually a lot of fun because in this game, you surf on top of the water and surf to different islands and solve puzzles. And it has a really nice story and beautiful graphics. So I've been really enjoying that game. I love adventure games, especially open world ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one I don't know how open world it is, but it seems to be a pretty good big world.
I mean, it's open enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little bit jealous. I talked about that just for like a minute because, we're just rolling into the autumn sale, and I'm like, this autumn sale's got some really good sales.
Yeah.
Going on,
really good.
Really good
like,
discounts, right?
Like 75, 80, sometimes 90%.
And like what you just talked about on like games that you don't want to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a problem though.
Uh-oh.
I own most of them already. Horrible problem to have.
What happened, Ben?
I own most of them, Jill.
Oh, you already owned, yeah.
All the ones that I'm like, that's a great game. That's a really good deal on that game. Oh man, that game's 90% off. Excellent. Problem is they're all in my library.
Oh, yeah. That happens.
First world problems right there, everybody. But like,
sometimes I buy the games twice because I have 3 different Steam accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So I've bought some games twice.
Unfortunately, we don't have to worry about that anymore with family sharing.
Yeah, family sharing,
which is really nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you just swap it between machines, and especially with like your Steam Deck, you don't have to worry about having.
It's really nice.
Move it back and forth. That's good. I'm hopefully everybody out there, if you found some stuff that you've been meaning to pick up, hopefully you didn't already own it, and hopefully it was on a great sale, and you went ahead and spent a little bit of jingle, and you got something to do. Me, I finished up Metro Exodus, and you know what? Oh, speaking of open world, I finally what I'm doing right now. Because I had the realization of if I completed 10% of the games that I want, like legitimately mean to go back and finish, not just everything in my library, but like just the ones that I'm like, for whatever reason, I fell off and I got to come back. And I did that with Exodus. The one I'm going to be going on next is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is not a great Assassin's Creed game, but it's a great open world game.
Yes.
And I want to finish that. I've been working. The last time I played that game was 4 years ago, according to the save. And I'm like, oh boy, I immediately ran into like, what was I doing here? And you know what? Skyrim's going to be on there one day. But
yay! Yes.
I have been looking around because it was brought to my attention that I might need a rack mountable ITX motherboard holder. Like something that I can put in a rack to hold server motherboard that is going to be ITX, mini ITX. I got a couple of different options here. I'd never looked at like a 19-inch rack-mounted ITX cases, basically, just PC cases. And they're a thing, a bunch of different options. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to get because
nice.
Things might still up in the air right now, but I might be getting a really powerful ARM-based thing that I can't talk too. I don't even want to bring. Yeah, I don't want to bring it up because that's a mean thing to do to people. I don't know. It might be after the holidays. I don't know. It could be 5 years from now. But I need something to put it in. If you have any recommendations for like 19, because I got a rack back here, and that's where it's going to live.
Yeah.
If you get any recommendations, drop them down in the comments. Let me know. I think I found one from Silverstone that looks okay. And it's kind of silly because I don't need anywhere near as much power. It's like a 200 watt power supply in that thing. And I'm like, I think I could probably get away with like 100 watts on this one. We'll find out. Stay tuned. But let's go ahead and jump into a couple of stories we have this week, starting with everybody panic because, yeah.
This is a little scary. So there is a UEFI bootkit targeting Linux kernels that was recently discovered called Bootkitty. And it is the first of its kind on Linux. Oh boy. So this unified extensible firmware interface Bootkitty has not been seen yet in the wild in real world attacks, fortunately. The Bootkitty Trojan was found on the Virus Total platform on November 5th, 2024. And ESET researchers Martin Smolar and Peter Strykic state, the bootkit's main goal is to disable the kernel's signature verification feature and to preload two as yet unknown ELF binaries via the Linux init process, which is the first process executed by the Linux kernel during system startup. Ooh. So UEFI bootkits used to only be found on Windows systems, but now there's one on Linux. So the good news is that it can't be executed on PCs with UEFI Secure Boot enabled unless the attacker's certificate had already been installed. And another piece of good news is that there was an addendum to the article on the hackernews.com, which states, ESET has revealed that the bootkit is part of a project created by cybersecurity students participating in Korea's Best of the Best training program, confirming it's an initial proof of concept rather than malware used by malicious actors. And that is good news. It was a test by students. So that's very, very good news. But in the future, us Linux users might want to think twice before we disable Secure Boot in our UEFI boot menus. I often do when I'm installing a new distro, because sometimes there's issues with Secure Boot and Linux distros, but they're getting that worked out. So now it's not so much of an issue, but it had been.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Jill said, this is possible.
Yeah.
Probably not something you necessarily need to worry about. Yeah, I disable Secure Boot. For me, it's like having, when you're running Fedora and like disabling, what is it on Fedora that you always disable? What's the security thing called on Fedora? I forget. It's not AppArmor. That's over here in Debian land.
Oh, yeah.
SE Linux?
SE Linux, yes.
Like you fight it and you work with it. And then again, we're just talking about like a little personal desktop here. Don't take security advice from me. I'm just merely a podcaster, Yahoo on the internet, but I'm just telling you what I do personally. I don't worry about it. But like Secure Boot, I've definitely run into some issues with like signing stuff, like self-signed. I looked into that with some of the kernel modules that I built for like the RME AIO. I'm like, oh, you can do this. Here's like 13 steps. And I'm like, yeah, nope. And yeah, it is just easier to go into the UEFI and go click disable and just not worry about it. But maybe that's something you might want to keep in mind for the future. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, not really bugga, but like, hey, this could happen eventually down the road. But yeah, yes. I mean, it's a good proof of concept. Security researchers going to security research. Always keep that in mind. And like what I said, don't panic. All right. How many of you have taken apart a save icon?
Many times.
Save icons. Whole thing.
Floppy disk icons.
Floppy disk. Turns out when you tear one apart, there's like a little spinny disky thing on the inside if it's a real one. And it is possible to draw images on that critter using magnetic flux, which is a thing. Now, it turns out, if you've ever like looked at, if you've seen like dissectors, right? Like from, if you're a certain age, you remember that, like the little layout of it. Yeah. Those are a real thing. Those are real. If you ever had a GUI that showed you the sectors, those weren't just made up. Like that's how a sector is laid out. And you might have seen it in like a retro YouTuber video, and like all that stuff's there. Well, if you got a program to show you that sector map, you might be able to get up to something. You might be able to pop it in and take a look at cats. That would be a strange thing to see, right? Yeah. Like, hey, let's look at this. Let's look at the tracks on this floppy disk. And it's like, why is there a cat here? Something's up. That's because somebody had used FluxFox.
Yay.
This is pretty neat, man. This is pretty neat. Awesome. You can draw cats, basically anything you want. Anything else, as long as you convert it to a 32-bit RGBA ping. Supports everything from the old 160Ks all the way up to, yes, they did make them, 2.88 megabyte floppy disk. And you can do that as soon as you figure out how to install FluxFox and have a go. And of course, it's all done in Rust because this is the modern age. Yeah, I think this is neat. Is it practical? No. Has it been done before? Kinda. But yeah, this is built into FluxFox, and it's called Ping 2 disk. Just something fun for the holidays. I saw that, and I'm like, cool. Yeah, maybe, just maybe, you got like, like a little USB floppy drive connect. Pop this thing in, you can do it. Like, really do it. Yeah. That's cool.
Aw, that was so cool when I saw this in the show notes, Ben, because this is just so awesome. I love floppy disks. I still use them a lot.
I don't
in my
love them.
Collection.
I don't. Like, I finally, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I threw out, because I still had, that thing, right, with the clear lid on it that you popped open that held the 5 1/4, and it wasn't designed for 3 1/2, but you still put them in there anyway. Like, I went through them, and I'm like, there's no telling. Probably all those discs were still good, but like, I just let it go. I just went, bye-bye.
Oh, boy. Now, I still literally have
hundreds.
Hundreds, over 1,000, because back when I was an animation student, before the days of zip disks and SideQuest disks, we had to save everything on floppy and split up the minute animations on, 100 floppies. It was insane. So, but this is so cool. The FluxFox PNG 2 disk. It's like LightScribe on compact disks, but using magnetic flux to draw images instead on a floppy disk. And I actually then remember hearing that this could be done, but I never saw it in the wild. I mean, I'd heard you could do it with black and white images, but I'd never seen it. And it was so neat that this application resurfaced, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that takes me back to the 80s.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Practical, no, and it has no real use whatsoever, but yeah, go play with it. There'll be a link in the show notes. Just go check it out. Just look at it. I love when people, not something easy to do, and he's like, this is a crazy hack. I'm surprised it worked, but it does. And yeah, I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. Go check it out. So, I made a video. I did a write-up on a video card. Not the latest and greatest, not the new upcoming Intel Battlemage B580s. Nay. No. But I am very much talking about Team Blue. Remember?
Yeah.
When AMD cards were blue. Yeah. The WX 3100. Something old, something new, something borrowed, and of course, something blue. Now, I've been looking for a spare GPU upgrade for a while. Something low profile, single slot. Most importantly, capable of doing 4K 60 on a desktop, because 4K 30 is a cursed experience on a desktop. And all of my other cards, my older cards, like my NVS 100s, were just bleh. So I stumbled across a gang of these AMD 3100s on eBay. They're going for about $30, $35 a pop. And I asked the Googles, the DuckDuckGos, the Bings, and I said, hey, do these things work with modern Linux distributions? And all the search engines gave me a shrug emoji. And I'm like, what's up with that? I don't like shrug emojis. And me being me, what do? Hey, I got this site called Interfacing Linux. I got this YouTube channel called Interfacing Linux. Let's answer some questions just in case somebody else decides to buy one of these $30 cards, because it could be a really good value. And that's exactly what I did. So if you want to go watch the video and read this full write-up over on Interfacing Linux, I did the benchmarks on it just for fun. It's more like hardware torture, but, superposition, firm mark. I even tried to play some games with it, which I actually played all the games, but you do need to keep in mind, this is Polaris. Now, this is the 580 series architecture from AMD. So you're not going to get any compute for Blender or DaVinci Resolve, but it does work out of the box after you get some firmware set up on it on modern Linux distributions. It does 4K 60 video playback, no problem there. And basically it boils down to, if you're watching the video version, roughly the same gaming performance as the integrated graphics in a 5600G. But then again, it's $35.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
There you go. It's pretty good. I'm down. Yeah. I'm absolutely down with it. It is incredibly well built. This card, when it came out, I think in 2016, it was like $200, which, it wasn't like super cheap. And it's got GDDR5. It's got 4 gigs on 128-bit bus. And if you're just looking for a spare video card, that was the whole thing, that card that you have laying around in a drawer.
Test card.
Test card. Headless machine card, when you can't get to something has gone amiss on one of your headless machines and you can't SSH into it, and you're like, and a lot of those don't have integrated graphics on it. Those are the cards I'm talking about. And more and more I'm finding myself like having to pull up an actual desktop on some of these machines to do particular things. And I wanted something that I could just plop in. I didn't have to worry about it. And the thing with the older hardware, even like, something from 2016, and the reason I wanted to test this, Linux is usually pretty good with older hardware. But there's always some squirrely stuff that you just never know. And nobody's really bothered to cover. I saw there's a couple of YouTube videos of like, testing them out on Windows and gaming and ridiculous things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just see if they work on Linux. Because if you want a spare video card that's low profile, that you can put in multiple systems, that has 3 displays out on it. And again, I wouldn't recommend it for gaming, but you could still use it as a great desktop card that does 4K 60. You can play the YouTube videos, you can play movies if you want to do that. It's what it was meant to do. It still serves that purpose as a workstation card. So head over to Interfacing Linux, and thanks to everybody who watched the video, subscribed to the YouTube channel, gave it a like, leave a question if you got that. And it's really good. I mean, it even supports DirectX 12, OpenGL, and Vulkan. It's old, but still gets the job done for $30. Good value card.
Oh, that was a great series of the AMD cards. The Polaris. I have several RX 580s, and I have another card similar to the one that you just reviewed, Vin. I can't remember what number it was. It's but I have one I've used just for testing as well, and it works great. But the WX3100 is nice because it has the 4 gigs of RAM in it, so that's cool.
No, what you mean to say is it's blue.
It's blue. Yeah.
This is the single most important thing about the WX3100. It's blue. No, it's a great card. If you just need a display out, and it's going to replace my older 380 workstation AMD card or my NVS 100. Might be an NVS 300, I don't remember. Mainly because both of those cards require the DMS connector, which is that funky connector for the dual display out, and I'm tired of finding that stupid adapter.
I know.
Or the right one, because I got one for VGA, I got one for DVI, and I got one for HDMI, and just ugh.
Yeah.
So I got this thing. It is now in the bottom drawer in here in the studio in the spare video card hot tray. So
yay.
Go check it out. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a watch.
Nice.
Over on Interfacing Linux, WebZone, YouTube channel, and all that. So stay tuned. Bunch of interesting stuff coming for 2025. If it shakes down, 2025 for Interfacing Linux is going to be, let's just say it's going to be interesting. So stay tuned. Now, Discord. We use Discord.
So this is actually something really exciting. Awesome. So screen share audio now works on Linux. Woohoo! Now you can stream a game on Discord to your friends with the in-game audio turned on, just like on Windows and Mac OS. This has been the top feature request on the Discord feedback tracker for Linux for many, many years. And now there is a toggle that says also share system audio when the screen share window pops up after you click the share your screen button. That shows up as soon as you enter in a Discord voice channel. This is actually huge for Linux gaming because all the kids today and adults alike are game streaming on Discord. And there have been times in the past Ven would have liked this feature on Discord for our return video back in the day. That would have been cool.
Oh, I've been able to do this since day one, Joe.
Oh, you have been, and of course, and I've been witness to it.
Well, that's why I'm saying I would never need this feature at any point.
Yeah, I know. You know how to do it the more professional way.
I'm just saying, there's always been a workaround to this, and to what Jill's getting. This is originally what I thought people were asking. They're like, because we play Jackbox, right?
Yeah,
and we were playing Jackbox on the after shows, and one of the things I got to do is capture that screen audio, get it out to the stream, but Jill would need to hear it too.
Yeah.
So I got to route that audio and make sure it's going through Discord and they're not hearing themselves back. And I'm like, what's the big issue? Why is everybody? So this is what I want to know. This is what I'm curious about, because I know my brothers and sisters out there on Windows and on Mac OS, they're like, yeah, that's not might not be what we're talking about. On Windows, I know it's a little bit different. So let's say I'm screen sharing, I'm sending you audio and I'm sending you game audio. There's a slider that allows me to individually adjust your audio, speech audio, and the game audio.
Oh, okay.
So you can, if somebody's sending you something and they got the game audio too loud or they're too quiet, you can adjust it yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I want to know. Is that what this is? If it is, leave me a comment below the video. If it isn't, but Jill, it works with Waylon. How cool is that?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure even if it doesn't work yet with adjusting the sliders for the voice and the game, I'm sure that will be coming.
Hopefully that's what this is.
Yeah.
Because it's always been curious, being on an Electron app and why don't you just make it work? Because this should be doable with modern versions of Electron. I don't know what version they were on with the desktop app on Discord. But yeah, my first thought when I saw you put this in, I'm like, is it going to be Waylon? And then I was like, oh, it does work with Waylon. You select the portal and you're good to go. I give Waylon a lot of static, but that's because I want to see it succeed. I do. So knowing these things are there, love to see it. Good times. Good times. Now, have you heard about Matrix?
Yes.
That's a joke.
No. I'm waiting for the green numbers to fall from the screen.
No. I just upset somebody because we just got done talking about Discord and they were like, I need to leave a comment on this video that says, well, let me tell you about Matrix. Matrix isn't we know about Matrix.
Yeah. Been using it for years.
Yeah, it's a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Weekly Daily Wednesdays. If you like what we do and you want to be part of it and get in and hang out with us the other 6 days of the week, head over to our Shenanigan Financing Department on Linux Gamecast and become one of our beautiful patrons. Link that up to our super secret Discord. You can also do that if you're a Twitch subscriber, but as a patron, you get just a big old gang list of things as bonus thank yous for helping us out. And we do appreciate it. And one of those is your name in the credits, which are about to roll right now.
Thank you once again to our advisor, Arthurian, and to our beautiful executive producers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Ian, Eshep, K.R. Ducky. I can't read these quick enough. Our Chicago Kicks people, Glorious Egg Roll. Our Sea Monsters, Treggy, Mike. Our Death Notes, Kim, Chris, Leonardo, Dodger, Martin. Our Chairlings.
Like Beckett, FX Boy.
Yeah. We got lots of wonderful people. So many wonderful patrons that we can't name them all.
Oh, I could.
I could have given enough time. And
I had to type them all out. See, I love you
Yeah.
more. Jill doesn't love you as much as I do. That's what she said.
Yeah.
You're more important.
Yeah.
Go buy some blue video cards, people. We'll see you next
Yeah.
week. Have a great rest of it, and come hang out with us if you want to get on doing some Trackmania this Friday and a little bit of RPG. And Jordan's going to be doing something on Thursday too. So subscribe to us on Twitch or whatever you do. I don't know. I think you got to click a notification. It's been so long. I don't subscribe to myself. But regardless,
Yeah.
have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.